예, 안녕하세요. 오늘 세션의 모더레이터를 맡게 된 토스증권에서 근무하는 애널리스트 이지선입니다. 반갑습니다. 저희는 오늘 그라닛셰어즈의 창립자이시고 또 지금 대표로 계신 윌 님이 저희와 함께 해주셨는데요. 오늘 세션은 개인 투자자분들이 ETF를 활용해서 정말 성공적이고 더 좋은 전략 구사하시는 데 도움이 될 수 있도록 윌 님과 함께 다양한 이야기 나눠 보려고 합니다. Hi Will.
Hi.
Yeah, we are so happy to have you here today with us. Thank you so much for joining.
You're very welcome. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Would you like to kick off our session by saying hello to our audience, please?
Hi, everybody. I'm Will Rhind, founder and CEO of GraniteShares. We're an ETF issuer based in New York City.
Sure, thank you. 네, 감사합니다. 저희 바로 질문 시작하려고 해요. 네, so why don't we just jump right into the first question so that we can have your insights and vision. So our first question is, what was your first impression? What surprised you the most when you learned about TOS Securities and our clients?
So my first impression was that the clients of TOS are very active, bold investors. Coming from New York was the first time that I'd been to Korea and met people in this market. And so in particular, I think that you have an adventurous mindset. You are very interested and passionate about investing, particularly in the US, some of the key US tech stocks, and other ETFs that the US market has to offer.
Thank you. Yeah, right. As you just mentioned, we are very active and very passionate investors. But at the same time, as you may already know, our clients are mostly retail, not institutional clients. That means that maybe their professional jobs or their backgrounds are not in the investment community, right? So from your perspective, what's the key value that ETFs could offer retail investors that often get overlooked?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there are a lot of great things about ETFs. There are a lot of benefits. So let's start with the core benefits that ETFs offer, that they are very low cost, they're efficient, meaning you can buy and sell whenever you want on the stock exchange. They're typically tax efficient. And for I think many people in the investment industry, the ETF has really become the investment vehicle of choice. So replacing traditional funds as being the new technology in the investment world. The great thing about ETFs is that you can invest in almost anything. So that can be a single stock, it can be a diversified large index, or it can be something like gold. So in that respect, ETFs really offer a huge amount of variety that's difficult to get with any other fund product. So very versatile, very investor friendly, and that's why this market has been growing like crazy for many, many years now.
Thank you. 세 번째 질문으로 넘어가 보려고 합니다. Could you share a few practical ways that our clients could use ETF like how professionals do? Could you actually give us one or two smart strategies that we can actually consider doing it?
No, absolutely. So I think when it comes to some of the ETFs that perhaps we are most well known for, which is leveraged ETFs on single stocks, clearly just the concept of leverage, starting there, is something that traditionally only professional investors have had access to. So, for example, hedge fund managers. And in a way, what leveraged and inverse ETFs allow you to do is to replicate some of these strategies that previously were only available to professionals like hedge fund managers. Even just going short, as we like to say, or some of you probably refer to it as inverse, is also something that a lot of professional investors don't have access to. So being able to have the potential to profit from when share prices or markets fall, as well as rise, is a key benefit to investors. There are some other trading strategies that are very popular in the United States. Swing trading is something where people typically use momentum in stocks or markets as a key factor to implement a trading strategy that might last for several days, and that is heavily linked to the use of charts or technical analysis. So popular stocks, the Teslas, NVIDIAs of the world that people love. So there are a number of different ways that investors can use ETFs, and those can be from the very simple to the more complicated.
Yeah, there are so many types of ETF that are already out there, just thoughtfully designed by professionals so that we can have easy access and just make a lot of money, right? But from what you mentioned today, I do have a couple more questions. When you talk about hedge funds and their strategy and how we can use ETF to kind of leverage their skill sets, could you actually give us a couple examples from your products or something that we are familiar with or we can, buy in the market?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think, we didn't plan this, by the way, but obviously there was a big event yesterday in the US market with Mr. Trump and Mr. Musk, and we saw a big fall in the price of Tesla. So there's a practical example of where you might have a very big event where the price of a major company like Tesla drops 15%, whatever, in a day. So the question is, are you able to take advantage of that? Is a way to invest in that? Is there a way to profit from that? So using a inverse or a short ETF, one of ours, for example, a TSDD, is a way that you can get that exposure. Simultaneously, if you look for a bounce back potentially in that stock, there are 2x long version of that, the TSLR, which is a way for people to express the long. So a very topical example of when a stock price falls, it goes back up, and there are ways to trade around that.
Oh, thank you. And there was actually another question that I really wanted to do. When you mentioned about the swing trading, it sounds like something only professionals can do, right? We can only do maybe day trading, but mostly long-term trading for the retail investors. So when you mentioned about the swing trading, is there any product that you give out or in the market that we can actually use that skill sets?
I would think of it like this. It's just a strategy. So it's not necessarily a product. It's more, there's never been better information available today than there has been in the entire history of investing. So there are plenty of websites, plenty of services that offer things like charting tools, information on technical analysis. And these kind of services will show different scenarios that people can use to trade. And then it's just really about what ETF you use to implement that. So it could be a single stock, it could be something like gold, it could be just a broad market like S&P 500 or NASDAQ, anything really.
Thank you so much. 이번에는 다음 질문으로 좀 가볼까 해요. Okay, so among all those options that you offer with ETFs or other things, actually we've been noticing that our clients really love leverage ETF, right? Is there something you see only from Korea, or is this something we can see everywhere else in the world?
That's a great question. I think the one thing I would have to say about Korea is I've noticed people are exceptionally passionate about Tesla in this market. There's probably no other country that I've been to that has more passion for Tesla than in Korea.
Yeah, maybe passion towards Tesla and their management. Maybe we are the strongest, but can you give us a couple different names of the country that who like as much as we do?
Yeah, I think, sometimes when you talk about stocks like Tesla and NVIDIA, clearly they're popular everywhere. So everywhere we go, these are names that people love. And we can talk about it in a minute, but there's some of the strongest investment themes in the world. But other countries here in Asia that love these kind of stocks, Japan, Taiwan, just to name two, And then obviously our home market in the US, these stocks are very, very popular.
Sure, thank you. And among your products, Tesla, NVDL, those are the names, single stock ETF names that are much favored by our investors. Is there any other names based on the single stock plays among your ETFs?
There are. So I would think that in some respects, what stocks are popular reflect the themes or the big investment trends in the market. So if you think about NVIDIA, what is NVIDIA? It's the most important name in artificial intelligence or AI. If you think about Tesla, for US investors at least, it's the most important stock in electric vehicles and autonomous, etc. And then other names like Coinbase, which is very popular here in Korea, that, of course, is cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency is another very big trend that we see in the US and around the world. Palantir, another AI stock. So the stocks that are very popular really reflect the investment trends in the market. So that could be AI, it could be EVs, it could be quantum computing, or it could be cryptocurrency.
Yeah, thank you so much for when you talked about the themes, how clients' needs and interests is actually around what's happening in the world. 그럼 다음 질문인 다섯 번째 질문과도 조금 관계가 있을 것 같은데요. 그럼 let's talk about the future, because why we talk about the future? Investment is actually all about the future. That's why we invest. But at the same time, even the long-term investors should look at the maybe 2 to 3 years outlook as well. And given recent market volatility, the focus on U.S. policy and the Trump administration new policy directions, that has a lot of impact on the market as well. Is there any ETF designed for that? And then my another question is, from ETF providers' perspective, is it a useful strategy that you could, actually embed your business on?
Yeah, so I'd say two things in particular that we've seen this year. With volatility, that's much more of a trading environment. So this kind of environment is much more conducive to short-term investing or trading, and that's where the leveraged or inverse ETFs can be very powerful. So short-term holding periods, short-term swings, market going up, market going down, or stocks going up, stocks going down. The other one, like I said, is income. That's been very popular, particularly options-based income, like our yield boost. And the reason is because when you sell options, you are effectively selling volatility. And if you think of volatility as an asset, you want to sell something when it's high, not something when it's low. And so that has been a strategy where the market has been going up and down, volatility has increased, but yet if you're in that through a seller of volatility, that has been a good strategy. And so people have been able to earn income, yield in this particular environment also.
Thank you. One thing I noticed from your answer is also about the options and volatility, because as retail investors, when we hear about that word, it's just very difficult. It's something just beyond our knowledge. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how the options or volatility play a role in designing ETF or running ETF, and who's actually behind that? Who's the real talent?
Great question. So we could have said this earlier actually, but we're speaking about it now. This is a great example of a strategy which, again, a lot of professional investors would use and have been using in the market for many, many years. And that is when you are the holder of a particular stock or a particular ETF or particular index, a common strategy has been to sell an option against that particular underlying asset. And the reason that you might do that is principally to earn income or generate a yield from that underlying asset. Now, that's been a very popular strategy on the professional side, institutional side. And again, like one of the great sort of applications of ETFs is we're able to package that as one strategy whereby investors can now buy that in a single ticker and get access to that strategy. So what we do is sell options on popular ETFs Could be on single stocks, it could be on broad indexes to generate high yields. But that's a good example of another strategy which you would typically only see in the professional investor world. A lot of people don't play with options directly, and therefore it's a way to generate yield in an environment where a lot of investors have lost money with traditional bonds.
So let's wrap it up a little bit. For long-term investors, not just a single stock ETF, but you mentioned about income and bond ETF as well as a great option. And the tech will remain the most popular theme as a growth play for maybe a decade and long-term horizon, right? We have to move on to the last question. 다음 질문으로 가면요. Last question here is about actually platform. We talked about your ETFs and now we talk about platform. We talk about platform because that's how we get an access to your wonderful product. So what kind of innovations or partnerships will shape the future of ETF investing, especially for the retail investors? And from your point of view, how we as Top Securities is doing or will do in this space?
Well, I think that this is a really key part of the investment story.
More than anything, we really hope that our investors feel the same way and they continue to stay with us and grow with us for their investment journey going forward. Will, thank you so much again for the session. It's been a real pleasure for me.
Ji-sung, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for having me here in Seoul. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak at this event in front of you all. It's really been a fantastic experience for me. As you might have noticed, there's some giveaways or gifts that we provided to you, so I hope that they fit. But thank you again, and thank you to TOS, of course.
Thank you very much.